Scent of Water on Mediafount Radio with Stephen Adeagbo.
Good afternoon. I'm Titus Soetan, FCA, that is to say a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria.
Glad to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I know a bit about your primary, secondary, and tertiary education, sir?
There's nothing spectacular about that. I'm a son of a farmer, so I grew in the village.
Where, sir?
In Ogun State, another local government, there's a village there. And so I went to secondary school, school in the village, in primary school in my village, then went to secondary school in Adeagbo, Premier Grammar School, Adeagbo. And after that, I came to Ibadan and went to the Polytechnic Ibadan. I did my OND in accountancy, 1973 to 75.
Wow.
And after that, I had the privilege of having a scholarship to do my professional exam in UK. I started this in Nigeria when doing the OND. So I just spent 1 year and completed my professional exam in the city of Birmingham Polytechnic in Birmingham, UK. It's now called City of Birmingham University because most of the polytechnics have been changed to degree awarding institutions. So after that, I came back to Nigeria. I started to work, and I've never known any other work than accountants.
Wow, that's great.
That's where I am now since I came to Nigeria, and I'm thankful for how he has sustained me to this day.
Thank you, sir. So it means I can be the son of a farmer and yet become a great person in life.
Exactly. We, the parents, have a role to play, and the government has a role to play. I remember when my father was sick, of a blessed memory, I keep on saying this story. He told his elder brother, who was sick, and I was in primary school. He told his elder brother that in case he dies, he wants this boy to, in Yoruba parlance, to Kukawe Mewa.
Okay.
That is, he must go to secondary school. I had. So that was the desire of my father. Eventually, he did not die. And he struggled, how much is the total income of a farmer? With my mother, they struggled, they pay I was never sent out of school, they would pay the school fees twice in a term, very small amount of money, but at least they were paying regularly. And with that, because it is their desire that their children should not just be relegated in the village, just as they are. So with that desire and God's grace and mercy upon me, I was able to, after secondary school, I was able to push myself with the assistant of the Oyo State, Western Region Scholarship. And I finished my program. Even if that scholarship was not there, I would have still finished it would have taken me a bit of a longer time. So in fact, it is even easier for a son of a farmer. Let me say it's much easier because it is like life and death. But if my father had been somebody that is very, very rich, I would say, if it doesn't work, I will lean on my father. But who am I going to lean upon? So nobody. So I encourage anybody, whoever your father is or your parents are, don't be limited. Just be conscientious, be focused. Hard work does not kill anybody. It's laziness that kills people. It's not a matter of I must make it today. Life is a process. It is not. It's a marathon. It's not a a sprint. Bam. No, that's how it works in life.
You were the former ICAN president. Please, sir, can you tell us what were some of your achievements, or can you just reminiscent on your days as ICAN president?
Well, being an ICAN president, I consider it as a privilege. It's a position of trust. And one thing with our own institute is that presidents come, president go, the institute remain. We find out that you have a year as president, just 12 months. And so it may not be easy to say, I achieved this, I achieved this, I achieved that. Some of the things you achieve, some people have been working on them before.
Relative achievements.
That's right. And when some of the things you worked upon that did not come out, they have not yet materialized, other people will pick it from there and then they will conclude it. So that's how our institute works. But generally, at least if you are the president, you will somehow try to put your best into whatever you are doing so that you can move the institute forward. And I thank God that during my presidency, we were able to move our institute forward a little bit. It's a continuing work.
Wow, a continuing work. That's great, sir.
Yeah.
And recently, sir, the 2018 appropriation bill was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari. But he pointed out that the alterations made by the National Assembly would obviously hinder him from implementing the budget. What's your take on this, sir?
I think this has been a recurrent issue over the years. Not only in 2018, we have heard of something like budget padding at one time or the other, which is like the legislators tried to bring something into the budget that the executive did not put into their budget. Of course, the legislators are supposed to do oversight function.
Okay.
But I believe that that function can be better done if there is a bit of cooperation between the executive and legislature. So because the president said, oh, they cancel some projects, they put some projects there. If there had been a way whereby both of them had worked together, getting the input from the National Assembly, trying to marry it with whatever they have before even presenting the budget, I think it will solve a lot of problems. Because the assembly people, they are claiming that they are doing whatever they have done to safeguard their interests, to make sure that the effect of the budget is felt all over the country, not just on one section. And they have a point. But the president who had presented the budget to them said, this is what I thought I'll be able to execute. I could see the execution of the budget being hindered or hampered by this executive legislature kind of rift.
All right. Let me go back a little bit, sir, for the sake of our young ones at home. May I ask you, sir, what is budget?
All right. Budget is a plan, if there's a financial plan of action that somebody wants to follow in a simple way. If you can budget at individual level, at community level, at company level, at national level. So the one we are talking about is at the national level. So if let me take an individual. If I earn, let's say 50,000 naira a month, I can budget for it. Before I get that money, let's say for my salary in June is going to be 50,000 naira. Let's sit down. How much do I spend on transport, on food, on maintenance of my car, on school fees, on this and on that? And I say, oh, I will then end up with 49,000 naira,
Okay.
and I will find out that I will only have 1,000 naira with me. So that is my budget for that month. It's good to do it, because if you don't do it, the problem is that you will start to spend the money anyhow. But when you put a thought process into the budget, you're likely to follow it to a great extent. It don't mean that you are following it 100%, but it is better to have a budget than to have nothing. And if you don't have a budget, the problem is that when you spend the money on unnecessary things, you still find out that the necessary things, at the end of the day, you have not spent money on it. So budget is a plan of action, a financial plan of action somebody wants to follow over a period of time. It could be 1 month, it could be 1 year, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years.
Even as a family.
Well, as a family, you have a 10-year development plan. So it's not only buying gari and for now, when do I want to build my own house? Which school my children will enter into? How do I save for it? How do I do for it? What will be? So I will budget for it and work towards it.
Thank you, sir. Notwithstanding the delay this year,
yeah,
how can we work towards improving the budgeting process and restoring the country to the January to December fiscal cycle?
I said it will depend upon the cooperation of both the executives and the legislature. The executive should not have the opinion of, yes, I'm the one going to execute this budget, it is my budget, and so I want to roam it around the throat of the assembly people. It will not work because everybody wants to be respected. So I think in the interest of the country, both arms of the government, the executive and legislature, should come together very early, and the executive should get information from the legislators. What do they want? How can we incorporate some of what they want into the budget process? Rather than at the end of the day, you go and give them a budget, they now dismantle it and give you another budget, and then everybody is not happy. I think it will, for the interest of the country and progress of the country, both arms of both the executive and the legislature need to work together.
Okay, sir. The Minister of Budgeting and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, remarked that FG is going to borrow a sum of 1.6 billion naira to fund deficit. I want to ask, must we always borrow? Aren't there any alternatives to borrowing? And what does this imply as a nation?
I'm sure you are talking of 1.6 trillion, not billion.
1.6 trillion
naira.
Thank you so much.
Well, of course, you see, borrowing in itself is not bad. Then our capacity to repay it must be weighed along with the borrowing. If there is a family who needs 1,000 naira and they have only 800 naira, it's not the problem. It will not be difficult. It will not be, one cannot say, don't go and borrow 200 naira. If you borrow that 200 naira, you will achieve something more than 800 naira could achieve, and you can see it. Then the other thing is that you must have capacity to return that 200 naira back to the person you have borrowed with. Thirdly, when you add that, if you have borrowed 1 million naira and you are borrowing another one to it, then you want to ask yourself, will I be able to have capacity to pay this money back? These are issues that are begging for answers in our own climate. Usually, there will always be a deficit budget. Normally, in most countries, they operate on deficit budget. But the budget must be purposeful. If you are borrowing money to pay salaries, to pay pension, it's a wrong way of funding the budget. If you are borrowing money to construct roads, which should pay for themselves, or build up infrastructure, which the citizen will enjoy, that is good. In as much as we can have the result of our borrowing, everybody can see it. So borrowing in itself is not bad. Then our capacity to repay it must be weighed along with the borrowing. For example, when I look at the debt servicing in the current budget, it's about 21% of our total budget.
That's quite huge.
It is huge. It's like somebody earning 1,000 naira. Already, he needs to spend 200 naira on paying debt. No, not even paying debt, paying interest on debt service mainly. So that's a problem. Because we continue to borrow, then we continue to pile up this, then we find out at a time, all the money we earn, we will be using a greater proportion of it to service debt. And that's what at times make countries to go bankrupt. And then IMF will come in, problems and here and there and what have you. So the country needs the managers of the economy needs to be cautious of what we are borrowing for. Not to borrow money and some people will steal it through the process that is not accountable and it's not going to benefit the ordinary man.
Thank you so much, sir.
The program is Scent of Water on Mediafount Radio. I still have with me Titus Soetan, FCA, a former ICAN President and a senior partner at Bekatili, Nigeria. Don't go away.
Scent of Water on Mediafount Radio with Stephen Adeagbo.
Mediafount. If you seek the undiluted truth, many the tinted truth.
The lands are dry, lives are thirsty.
Mediafount. We cry for the fountain of revival. We long to see our lives, homes and lands flooded by the fountain of life. Mediafount.
Oh, that we may all quench our thirst from the fountain of grace and mercy.
The above is the founding burden behind Mediafount, a Christian-based multimedia network based in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria.
Mediafount is driven by the scripture,
Luke 1:1-4,
to go through all orderly processes of sourcing, developing and disseminating media content for the revival and empowerment of the Christendom.
As media apostles, therefore, we are sent out to inform, educate, and transform with the integrated media services from our subsidiaries.
Looking at the 2018 appropriation bill, a paltry 7.07% was allocated to educational sector as against the 26% benchmark by UNESCO. And recently I sat down and I could see the video of a child called Taju that went viral, a 5-year-old child who has not been able to go to school and who were trying to make comedy out of it, even though the child has been able to meet the executive governor of your state and some other celebrities, and they have agreed to send him to school. But the question is, why will a child of that age not be in school? Don't we have millions of Tajus all around Nigeria? From the statistic that we have, Nigeria has 8.6 million children out of school, which is the highest in the world, and 40% are Southerners. Is this not a reflection? 40% of them are Southerners, belong to the South. Is this not a reflection of the way government trifle with educational system?
Well, that's a strong point. That's a very strong point, because no country can rise beyond the level of the education of the citizen. Mm-hmm. No country can rise beyond the level of education. And education is not just primary education, secondary education, it's it's all-inclusive kind of education. I agree with you. If UNESCO parameter should be about 26% of the budget channel to education, and we are channeling 7.7%. You see, it's a reflection of one, of what's premium, like you said, we place on education. And government will justify their own allocation by saying that there are other spheres, other levels, other sectors that are crying. And I don't see any sector of our economy that is particularly buoyant. Is it the health sector? Is it the transport sector? Is it the power sector? Which sector will you say that is 100% okay? So that we are in an emergency that, as much as possible, money should go to where it can be utilized to have the greatest effect. But I agree with you, education is key. Wherever we are going tomorrow, the way we educate people today will lead us to where we are going tomorrow. Talking about those people that are out of school, and I know a cultural problem still persists in some areas in this country about education. I'm glad you say 40% of the children are in the south, which means 60% are elsewhere. And it depends on how premium even the individual places on education itself. Before we blame government, how do we place premium on education? Even if I'm a farmer, am I happy that my children will be farmers after me, or that they should be better educated and have a better life? So, and if I have that mind, I will do everything possible to ensure that my child is educated. It may not go to highbrow schools, it may not go to Ivy League schools, but definitely, because some parents, they don't care whether even their children are in school or not, and culture is doing it. It's even good for some male children. In some places, even female children suffer a lot for lack of education. And I think we need to address it. And it's not only government that can address that. We individually, we need to address it. Come out of culture that have not helped us. Come out of taboos that have not helped us. Like the girl child is supposed to marry at age 12 and start to bear children. And when you see in other countries, female children are pilots, they are engineers, they are working in space, they are doing everything.
Even doing well in the government.
Yes, they don't have two brains. But our culture has somehow retarded our progress and our thinking. So you find out that we are not doing well. So I believe government has its own role to play to increase the budgetary allocation to education. Everyone too. Where you come from, it doesn't matter who you are. You want your child to be educated, and you can get loan to get your child educated. You can do anything. You can sell your properties to get your child educated. So that is a key point. We have a problem. The government has its own. Individuals have our own.
Sir, being a husband to a veteran gospel musician in Nigeria, and striking the balance between your career as a chartered accountant and senior partner here at Mekatili, and the school is there, Pathfinder College, family ministry. How have you been able to strike the balance?
Well, I will say that I don't even have any balance to strike, in the sense that what this you have mentioned is just like a tip in the iceberg when you consider people like Dangote. How does Dangote maintain all those companies and whatever have you, and he still has a family, he has whatever, he may not be Christian, but he has a family, he has a religion, he has whatever. I think, you see, things like this, they are easy. There are what they call structures. Okay. Once there are structures, systems work, and once they work, all the man that sets up the organization is to be fed back. I may not be in the school you mentioned, but I may not so know what is going on, but I know people are there. Everybody knows what he's supposed to do, and you get reports, and you visit the place from time to time. That's how it works. So, except I'm going to be, if I go to the place, I'm not a teacher, I'll be useless. Alright, so the same thing with Dangote. He has so many companies, and all he does is put right people there. Put right people there. There are controls, so that even if you are not there, things will work. People will not just steal the money because you are not there, because there are controls. I think with that, anybody can manage things. All you need is to get information, to control and say, oh, this one should go like this one should go like that. And you can do that one anywhere with technology and everything. You can be in UK and be directing what is going on in Nigeria. So it's not a big deal at all.
Somebody said, if you claim to be leading people and you have nobody following you, you are merely taking a stroll. That means when there are good structures and you have good followers, they can handle some of these things properly.
That's right.
Finally, sir, what counsel do you have for the young people out there?
So many things. I will say this time, without deceiving anybody, is different from our own time. And it's different from the time of people who have come before us. Let me give you an example. When we were in secondary school, If you, all our graduates from universities don't look for a job. In fact, the likes of CFO, CFA, GBO Libant, PZ, they go to the universities and interview them. So after their youth corps, job is waiting for them as management training. Those who will not get job in those places, probably they will have teaching waiting for them. That's the list. But what do you see today? And because the population has expanded without the growth in the economy, that's where we are today. If the population is increasing and industries are springing up and companies are springing up, of course we will not have any problem with it. So I sympathize with our youth. It's a very, very difficult time. They should not lose courage. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. They should not lose courage. What people are saying today, and I agree with, is that they should look inward. Not a matter of, let me submit my application. What can I do myself as an entrepreneur? So youths are supposed to be entrepreneur, and I know this one has its own challenges. Challenges upon challenges. The greatest challenge that we have about entrepreneurship is the infrastructure in the country. No light, no water, no power, no this, no road, no nothing. So if you want to do anything, you have to provide your own infrastructure. And when you do that kind of a thing, your cost of production increases more than necessary. And sometimes, if you are unlucky, you meet with government policies that keep on changing from time to time. I mean, if governments, they say you can import this one, and you start to manufacture it in Nigeria, and then the next morning they say, oh, they sort of allow you to come out, to come into the country from Japan or China or India. You find out that their own cost of production is lower than your own, so it will be cheaper, and so people will not buy your own. And when you don't sell, that's the end of the business.
Then how do we maintain constant policy?
What I'm saying is that government must make sure that the policy is to protect the interest of the citizen. I might use the word of President Trump, because Nigerian first, interest of the country must be protected. So because many industries, they spring up with hope, and in the end, you find out that they die. What about cost of finance? If you want to borrow money, and maybe the least you can pay will be about maybe 25%, 30%. Now tell me, which business are you going to do? You borrow money at 25%, 30%. Which business are you want to do? Nothing. So these are problems, and I sympathize with our youth. They should not lose courage. I know the government is trying to diversify the economy, and if you can diversify it more away from oil, we will create more jobs. Government is not supposed to provide jobs for everybody, but they are supposed to create the enabling environment, and they say it, which will make entrepreneurs to thrive and to be able to succeed in whatever they are doing. Our youth should not lose hope. They should be hardworking, and they should take whatever is available. The only thing that is not available for anybody is to go and steal. But there is no job that is too little, especially when you are still waiting for the big one come. And we hope that our political leaders will give the economy the right direction, such that our situation will improve. Not only for the youth, even everybody's having a problem, business or anything. Everybody's facing a lot of challenges.
So, your retirement is tomorrow, sir.
By the grace of God.
Looking back at your days at Bekatili, Nigeria, what do you have to tell us? And then your plan after retirement?
Well, looking back at my days, I have to say I'm grateful to God. I'm filled with gratitude, because it's not everybody that starts that completes. And if you started something, you completed it, it's not because you are more brilliant, it's not because you are more resourceful, it's due to God's grace and mercy. So I'm a product of God's grace and mercy all throughout the years. People have gone on a journey, and then you have had accident, you have died. either by road or by air, by whatever or whatever. So for everybody to, for any man to have lived for a number of years, work day and night, travel, and still say he's retiring, I think that person should think wide and say, I have nothing to say other than I am a product of God's grace and mercy. Yes, tomorrow, yes, by the grace of God, I take my vow. Again, I know that if you believe in God, you know that it's just another sphere of life. I've never been there, although there may be apprehension, there may be non-naturally. But I know you are trusting God that you make way for me. The Bible says it's not in the man to direct his own paths, and God will direct my path. I believe all I need from everybody is prayer, good wishes, and everything. If I have not been able to direct my path up to now, then what's my problem going forward? Do whatever I can do and commit the rest to God. I believe God shall be well.
If I may add, sir, do you have any political ambition?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe because the way politics is played in this country, many people run away from it. It's a dirty game. It's a game. In other places, politics is for service. I wish it could be like that in our own environment, and then I would have said, yes, one will put the whole of his neck into it. But in a place where you have to tell lies, do all sorts of things, and hire thugs, buy machetes, buy guns for people, and all the rest of them, which we see that our politicians do. I don't know. God may overrule, but I don't have a serious ambition for that. But I know that it is good for many of us to go into politics and make a difference. I know.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me your time.
All right.
So grateful, sir.
Thank you very much.